What kind of price would you pay for the things you value most? Your family, your property, or even your life? Humans value things we deem desirable or necessary. So with that said, what is the most valuable thing on Earth? On Earth right now, there is an estimated $5 trillion worth of actual currency in circulation. This is known as M0 in economics. But even with all of the actual physical money in the world, we have things that are valued more than all of the physical cash combined. The most valuable company on Earth, for instance, is Saudi Aramco, worth upwards of an estimated $7 trillion alone, and $30 trillion when total assets are factored in. The country currently valued to be worth the most is the United States, being worth up to $220 trillion when you include all of its assets as well. As of now, the most valuable objects on Earth are antimatter particles. It is so expensive due to the need to invest massive amounts of money to obtain them. In 1999, NASA predicted that a single gram of antihydrogen, the antimatter counterpart of hydrogen, would cost upwards of $65 trillion to produce. For a size comparison, a paperclip weighs roughly the same as a gram. With the same amount of money and current untaxed gas prices, you could buy roughly 55 trillion gallons of oil, or about 207 trillion liters. That's almost enough oil to fill 83 million Olympic-sized swimming pools, or to be the 25th largest lake by volume in the world, and all for the same price of a single gram of antihydrogen. So what is this antimatter stuff? To put it as simply as possible, antimatter is made of atoms that consist of antiprotons, antineutrons, and positrons. They're given these names because if they come in contact with what can be considered their opposite, they will annihilate each other. Because there was more matter than antimatter at the beginning of the universe, we got left with regular matter and almost no antimatter particles, which is what makes them so rare. Antimatter is extremely useful because it has the highest energy density of any material in the universe and can achieve 100% mass to energy conversion. Even nuclear fusion has a mass to energy conversion ratio of under 1%. This means that antimatter would be the ultimate fuel source. So what is the most valuable thing on Earth? It's important to note that the value of things change. Currently, the most valuable thing on Earth is the biosphere, which is the inhabitable environment and atmosphere on Earth. The biosphere has been estimated to be worth upwards of 300 quadrillion US dollars. This is simply due to how much it costs to create a sustainable environment for humans, let alone all of the humans and other organisms that are necessary for our survival on Earth. This estimated value is based off of the failed project known as BIOSPHERE 2. The project was focused on making a controlled environment and atmosphere completely cut off from the one we are currently in, initially as a way to test building facilities on planets to survive on them. The occupants were to grow their own food and had 5 wilderness areas to produce oxygen for them. The project cost roughly $200 million in 1990 for a facility that was supposed to be able to sustain at most 8 people, along with an array of different insects and plants, for 2 years. This $200 million in 1990, when fixed for inflation, is about $360 million today. Given that the facility was meant to sustain at most 8 people, and Earth is sustaining 7.2 billion, when calculated out, we can come to a rough conclusion that the biosphere of the Earth is worth at least $300 quadrillion, and we get it for free. But as said, the project was a failure due to internal conflict with the management 6 months in. But there were red flags. With high levels of CO2, most of the insects that pollinated died off, and they were having difficulty producing enough food. So there's potential for the value to exceed 300 quadrillion. But as we increase our technological capabilities, it's likely that oil, antimatter, and even the price of making a new biosphere could one day be much cheaper and fluctuate their price value. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe. It's free.